is here. Guest visitor. Another one for Dean. Dean, you're quite popular here, I see.
Okay.
How does mirrorless compare to professional photography? I mean, it's two different things. I mean, mirrorless is...
I think we answered this slightly before. For me, I mean,
professional photography in the first place hasn't to do really with the tool. It's just like how you approach.
Yeah, exactly. It's the eye. You know, you see people. I mean, that was the thing with me. I noticed at the Olympics. You know, people use so many different types of cameras. I mean, I saw an old. I mentioned to you before an old Speed Graphic, which was an old 1940s camera. You know, so it's not about the. It's not about the camera. It's about how what your eye sees and can your camera do what you want it to do. That's the important thing. So, you know, whether it's mirrorless or mirror, it doesn't. For me, it doesn't matter as long as it does the job properly. As long as I can control the light, then I'm happy with that. So, for me, you know, the other thing I was going to mention before actually was about the 1 to 300.
Yep.
Was because it was mirrorless, because it was a mirrorless camera, and because it became a 2 to 600, this lens actually became really good for me for details. So I don't know if some pictures pop up, but like I did some
Australians, of course, you had to take a shot of your.
Of course,
your peeps.
Wouldn't I? Exactly. So like there's some pictures I did were some detail shots of there was a French runner who had sort of a little detail on her fingernail, or a detail of a horse, you know, some embroidery on a horse on the show jumping, you know, that with the 2 times, you know, to carry a 600 mil in the traditional, you know, having a big lens, you just couldn't do it. So this made me get detail shots which add to your overall set of pictures, which again you wouldn't be able to get with another thing. So, you know, the mirrorless was a big help for me with these, especially with the 1 to 300. So yeah.
Okay. Then before I would like to come with a little anecdote around, I would like to wait for the next poll. Once again, in between, we also ask you different kind of questions. As for example, I can't wait to get my hands on a new. Is it either single focal lens, or a zoom lens, or a macro lens? We have about 20 seconds. What do you guys think? Which is going to be the most popular? A zoom lens, a macro lens, or a single focal lens?
I would say the zoom.
The zoom?
I would say, I was going to say zoom, but I'll say single focal.
You can say the same.
Single focal lens.
You can be wrong.
No,
both of you can be wrong.
Personally, I've been using that a lot recently, and I can understand why.
No, but apparently it's really that 75% are aiming for a zoom lens and only 25% for a macro lens, and a single focal lens is equals 0.
Me?
Yeah, apparently. No, because like we have this funny thing, because of the translation. Most of the time, when Germans have the tendency just to ask for a picture, it's not like can I take a picture. It's more really because kann ich ein Bild machen? So can I make a picture?
Okay.
So it's funny because like one time I met like a professional photographer and he told me like, well, you see the difference between an amateur and a professional is the amateur. It's all about to take a picture. The professional is all about making a picture.
Okay.
That's where it's the other way around. I think that's where you really can draw the line between like an amateur and professional. It's because really, oh look, I got a lucky shot. This is the greatest one thing. Or like, yeah, just the way I intended to do it. I think that really makes the professional.
Yes, that's the difference. The difference is that, you know, anyone can take an amazing photo. You know, I could give a camera to my nephew, and you know he's 5 years old, and he could take an amazing picture. But the difference is that, you know, you have to do it every day. And that separates the good photographers and the great photographers are the guys that, you know, it doesn't matter what event they go to. And you know, there's a lot of the guys that I learnt off at my company, you know, and I'm still learning off, you know, every day, that it doesn't matter where you put them, it doesn't matter what sport you put them at, they're always going to come away with an amazing picture because of experience, because of knowing their cameras, because of just pure knowledge of sports. So, you know, that's the difference I see is. The guys that just come away. It doesn't matter what event you put them at. You know, the smallest amateur event or the, you know, World Cup final, they'll come away with amazing pictures. So, you know, that's the difference between, for me, an amateur and a pro.
And so it's also quite reassuring for a photographer in general that the technique in general cannot really take off experience.
Yeah, well, you can't. The experience always comes into it, you know. And like I said before, you know, knowing your camera is such a big part of that because, you see something, you want to be able to control the light, to, obviously that comes onto the sensor. So, yeah, knowing your camera and making it do what you want it to do is key, definitely key.
All right, then go